When I was 14, I worked at Spirit Halloween for 2.5 hours. That's it. Approximately 10:01 a.m. until about 12:34 p.m. Eastern Time. Is it the record for the shortest employment stint at Spirit Halloween? I'm not sure. I hope so, but here's what happened. It was my first day and we opened at 10 a.m. I've heard great things about working there, but we got 4 minutes into my shift and the whole place went to hell. I'm at the register. It's 10:04 a.m. and this woman comes in and she comes up to me and she asks me for a Mitch costume. Assuming, like many of you probably right now, that I knew what she meant, I said, of course, and I took her down the aisle towards the witch costumes. I'm showing her this whole rack of witches, and she's like, I'm not looking for a witch, I'm looking for a Mitch. I'm 14, so I have no idea what Mitch means, but I'm assuming that it's like some combination of things that a 14-year-old is not supposed to know. But I was like, oh, I wonder if she means like a mom witch, you know what I mean? Like a mom witch, like a Mitch. I was like, okay, well here's like our older witches costumes, like you could be a mom in these. Like, no, I don't want to be a witch, I want to be Mitch. At this point, I'm like, okay, she's not saying a Mitch, she's saying Mitch, which means like it's gotta be someone real. Like she wants to dress up as a specific person named Mitch. And so I'm like, who is Mitch, ma'am? And at this point, I can tell that she is also having like a brain lapse because she's like, I don't remember his last name, but it's Mitch, you know, like Mitch up there in DC, Mitch. Again, I am 14, and even though, yes, I lived right by the border of the District of Columbia, I had no idea what was happening in DC. I was 14. I was back and forth for no joke like 4 minutes as she's trying to tell me like, you know, it's Mitch. And I'm like, I don't know what Mitch is. The only Mitch that I know is a witch Mitch. It's a witch with the W that's flipped, and you're wrong. I don't know what a Mitch. Finally, she realizes that I'm gonna be of no help, even though I realized that 3.5 minutes earlier. She asked to talk to my supervisor, and so I bring my supervisor over. Just a top-notch look on day one, literally 7 minutes into my employment, to need to call over my supervisor. By the way, had been at Spirit for years, one of the happiest people I've ever met. This woman is like describing what she means by Mitch, and they take about 2 or 3 minutes before finally my supervisor is like, ma'am, are you talking about Mitch McConnell? Light bulbs. In retrospect is of course absolutely preposterous, because who wanted to dress up as Mitch McConnell in 2001? Like who, what even, first of all, if your whole plan is to dress up as someone who you don't even know the last name of for Halloween, scrap that plan. That's a bad plan. That's not even a plan. It's just an idea. It's a nugget of information. Besides the fact that like, what is a Mitch McConnell costume in 2001? It's a suit, it's white hair, and it's like an old Southern drawl. Like that's it. Like Spirit Halloween doesn't sell a Mitch McConnell costume. No one sells a Mitch McConnell costume. As you can probably tell from my recounting of this over 20 years later, I was understandably very hot that day. And my supervisor is like, ma'am, I'm very sorry, but we don't have a Mitch McConnell costume. She leaves, and I'm still upset, and I'm frustrated at the fact that like I just made a fool of myself, right? And my supervisor, who again is very nice, is like, it's your first day, these things happen, people are kind of wild, especially around Halloween, why don't you just like go into the back and take a break? I'm 11 minutes into my employment, and I've already taken a break. I'm walking towards the back, and unbeknownst to me, Spirit Halloween, much as it is now, always had those like animatronic things that are jumping out everywhere. They weren't as like sophisticated back then. They were very like herky-jerky, which made them even more terrifying because they had zero limb control. Someone, as a joke, had placed one literally right next to the employee break room. So I'm like right about to go into the break room, and this thing, which is, it's just a skeleton with like basically a hoodie on, right, covering its face, which makes it even more terrifying because I don't know what's happening inside those already dead eyes. As I'm reaching for the handle, it just jumps out. I scream. This like 10-year-old boy 15 feet away from me screams because like someone else is screaming, so of course you need to start screaming. People are staring at me. I look down the aisle back towards my supervisor, and she's got this face on where she's like, point, I just want to hide underground. So I go into the break room, and I go on break for approximately 2 hours and 17 minutes. I emerged at 12:34 p.m. Eastern Time, and I walked out the front doors, and I never went back. I never even officially quit. It is possible, in fact, that I am still technically employed at Spirit Halloween. So I'm either the shortest employee ever or the longest.